Born in the middle of the afternoon in a horse-drawn carriage down the old F5. The big 12-wheeler shook me bed. You can't stay here, the policeman said. You better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go, move, shift. Born in a common by a building site where the ground was rutted by the trail of wheels. The local Christian said to me, "You lower the price of property. You better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go, move, shift." Born at the back of a hawthorn hedge where the black hoarfrost lay on the ground. No eastern kings came bearing gifts, instead the order came to shift. You better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go, move, shift. Oh, the eastern sky was full of stars, and one shone brighter than the rest. The wise men came stern and strict and brought the order to evict. You better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go, move, shift. Wagon, tent or trailer born last month, last year in far off days. Born here or 1,000 miles away, there's always men nearby who'll say, you better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go, move, shift. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go, move, shift. Move along, get along, move along, get along, go. Move, shift.
You're very welcome to our camp, Gregory. Here you can see at the back we have a traditional Irish traveller wagon, and interestingly enough that was made and is modelled on what we call a Newry wagon. And if back in the day, if you were able to buy a Newry wagon, you were well to do. So you had your wagon, your flat and your tent, and literally you were what we would call a wealthy traveller. And the Newry wagon was upmarket. It's like going in today and buying your Rolls Royce and your Lada. You got your Newry wagon with something. And that slept a full family. But inside in it, you had the bed at the back, and then but for the babies, they slept underneath the bed and the wagon. And for the older boys and girls, it would be the tent. So you'd have a boys' tent and a girls' tent. And during the winter then they joined the two tents together with a centre one which was known as a shelter tent. But today we're going to have the tinsmith Gregory working with us, and sadly enough tinsmiths now are coming as rare as hen's teeth. You just can't get them. And we heard earlier on that in Monaghan actually there was a number of tinsmiths, very good tinsmiths, but sadly they've all passed away. But James here is going to show us a bit of tin work, and in the Leinster area all I can locate is two tinsmiths, and at one time you get them at every corner of the road. Wherever you find travellers, you'd find tinsmiths. But sadly it's gone. And the saddest part of it is that the skill has not been passed on. So we need to rectify that, we need to do something about that. So what Jane's going to make for us now is what we call a ponger. Now a ponger is a little tin mug. At the moment now, Greggy, you see him there, he's using what we call a clips. But there's two types of clips. That one there is for cutting. And he has a second clips that he uses, and it's not for cutting, it's called a lagging clip. And I'll show you that in a second now when he's that done. Now can I tell you, this man makes it look very easy, but it is far from easy. Now, the little piece of stick he uses, you think that's only a little bit of a stick through there, but that's actually a very important tool, and that's called a scutcher. And without that you'd never get it made, and he'll use that more than any other tool. And it's only a piece of stick, and as a child when you're watching your grandfather do this, if you've done it wrong you got to wrap the scutcher in the knuckles. Many's the one you got, James? So that's your scutcher, it's called. What he's using now is called a hatchet stake. And this one here, people would call it a tinsmith's anvil, but to travellers all they ever called it was a stake. And they were basically what you used to shape everything. What he's doing now, when he's finished, you'll see him in his corners, he's making it. He uses no welding, no glue, no nothing to stick it. He'll actually fold the tin together. And this is putting grooves in it so it folds into one another. There's an interesting story about these stakes. They're very hard got and very hard made. But that one there was his father's and his grandfather's before that, and it's known as a prison stake. And actually they were made, that one came from the Mountjoy, and they were made in the prison, or for the prison. And they'd have a tinsmith in working, and when the tinsmith had finished, whatever length of time he had, a month or whatever he was doing, he'd actually get to bring one of them with him. Now to get one of them was a queer excitement because they were expensive and very, very rare to get. Smaller one is called hatchet, a hatchet stake, and then you'll have another little hand one as well. Sorry? What, a mug? A mug is big, yeah. What he's making actually, we call them a A ponger.
Yeah.
A ponger, or another name. You mind yourself, Mr. Cawley. It's absolute pleasure. Mind pleasure with all mine. Mind yourself. Again, he makes it look very simple, but I can guarantee you I've tried it and I made a show of myself. So I'm not a tinsmith, far from it. And the sad thing, as I said earlier on, there's very little tinsmiths left in the country. Now in this area, the whole region in Leinster, 2 is all we can find. And at one time, they're at every crossroad you could come to. You can see there that when he folds the tin over, it links in, and then he actually brings it together and he presses it with the hammer so that it seals and it'll actually be waterproofed. It's still there for yourself. Sit down and rest yourself. Sit down and rest yourself. Link the ski. As you can see there, he just brought the 2 of them together, and now he'd fold it over and he'd fold it again, and then he'll do a final fold on it. So the tin or the copper, in this case, actually how you seal it is by folding it into itself. Oh, James, you want muscles to lift them, you would.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, you want muscles for them. I'd say it's a while since a tinsmith worked in the diamond in Monaghan. I don't know if anyone did. Although this area would be known to have good tinsmiths. And actually very good wagon makers in this area as well. But sadly they're all gone. Again, he makes it look very, very simple. But it's as far from simple as they'll get, I'll tell you that. And that sound now the tinsmith is making, years ago, really early in the morning, there'd be about 10 or 15 working like that. And it was actually like music. You know, it was like music. Well done, James. Congratulations. There you are. Well done. Round of applause. You can pass that round. It's fairly heavy, wouldn't it? Just pass it around there, let people see it. The other tools you'd have you a marking stick there, James? Here's your marking stick for a minute. See them there, they're very interesting tools. See them there? They're called marking sticks. And see every little edge on it? That has the pattern for whatever he wants to make. Whether that be a bucket, whether that be a can, or a measuring jug, or a quartz, whatever you. And whoever come up with a brilliant simple idea, piece of heavy tin, and they cut all the notches on it. So every notch, James, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Has a shape and pattern. Different patterns on it. Yeah.
Billy cans, Tommy cans.
Whatever you want, a bucket even.
The buckets.
Even to the buckets, yeah. And they're called a marking stick. As you can see, the type of tools the tinsmith would have used were extremely, I'm not going to say primitive, far from primitive, but very simple. There's no very sophisticated amount of tools because they couldn't have them anyway. They couldn't have them because what they had to do is carry it on the back in a bag they call a budget. So again, folks, thanks very much. I take a break now.
They're the billy cans. That's how when you make the team, when you're travelling around, when you're parking up, you light your little fire and put your water in there and your tea leaves, and then you have your saucepan with it. And then when you're short of milk, you used to have one of these and go to the farmer.
Oh yeah.
And borrow a sup of milk. Then in return, they used to do the favour for the farmer. If he needs a bit of soldering done with the buckets, the travelling people used to solder it for them.
Very good.
So you give and take in them times.
That's really good. Yeah. Wasn't a lot wrong with it?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, we'll take a look round.
See, every pattern he wants is on that.
It's on that.
Yeah.
You've made that yourself?
Yeah.
No, your father made that.
And actually he made that by eye.
Right.
His father would have made mark and stick.
Right.
Now they are like gold dust.
The half-gallon in the 3/4 can.
Right.
All different sizes.
But you can recreate those, I suppose.
Oh, you could, yeah.
But some man had to invent it though.
Yeah.
Then you had the
They used to make their own.
gallon hand.
Yeah.
Everything even all different sizes.
Now all measurements are on that.
Yeah.
That's called a mark and stick.
And that's been made from making a size, looking at it.
And
if
judging
you like it,
Exactly.
mark it.
Exactly.
That's a certain size.
Exactly.
So that's been an awful lot of trial and error to get all
Oh yeah,
that.
to get that. And that's why they pass them down. They don't do away with that.
Right.
That's
You
keep
just
that now for the.
that one there, no, for what I meant to handle.
For the handle. Okay.
You have a straight line
Yeah.
that you won't waste any of the time.
Okay.
That's how much I meant. The 10 years ago, they wouldn't have had the price of a half box of 10.
And where did you buy your 10 years ago?
Well, any hardware than you. Every hardware had the rivets on the tail.
Right. Okay.
Every one.
And James, this area here in Monaghan, in Cavan, them areas, believe it or not, were areas where a lot of the travel coming. And there's even songs about them, about how they smuggled it in across. And I know in this area, there's a song about the Coonies, the Collies,
Yeah.
and Big Martin Quinn. we come this area smuggling tin, like, you know.
Yeah.
So travellers actually made songs about the area.
My grandfather was smuggling tin under a bridge one time. I heard two people coming, he thought it was the customs, and he had to hide under the bridge. Turns out it was just a man and a woman walking by. He hid there for a long time.
It's a very famous song called Smuggling Tin. And it's all about the coonies and the Cornies. And McDonald's that were smuggling. Oh! I think Nell has it.
That's there, James. I just
Ask
agreed
Nell
with
over
that.
there. She has it over there. Yeah, she has it.
There was important work to be done. There was buckets to be mended. My father was a carpenter, so he looked forward to seeing the travellers coming as well, because there was always a bit of carpentry work to be done.
And the travellers could do it.
Yeah. And shafts for the carts. My father, they usually were made of a larch for strength.
That's right, the larch, yeah.
And my father would have larch. He'd have larch for ladders. So they were always asking, can you make a spare one of them? So they'd have a spare one for going round with it. So it was a very reciprocal arrangement in the countryside in them days. Travel was viewed as an important resource that came to the community, and the travellers themselves got something out of it, got a living out of it.
Exactly, simple as that.
Yeah. So this is a great reminder of those old days.
Oh, exactly,
James,
yes.
Thanks for
you was a thread that for that a bit of food.
Yeah. So thanks for helping us to relive that here today.
Thanks very much to you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much to you.
Thank you, James.
Thank you very, very much.
Nancy O'Leary. I'm introducing you, Nancy, because I know you.
Nancy was Annie is my name, but that's all I get from was a child. Someone put that on me. They say it's a short for Nancy, because I know a few people called. I have a cousin in the park, Nancy McCann.
Yes.
She's Annie McCann. Nancy's all she gets.
Right.
If you called her Annie, she'd hardly answer you.
The shortened version.
Like myself.
Nancy, you're actually the oldest traveller in County Monaghan.
I am.
Yes. Would you like to tell us your age?
What?
Would you like to tell us your age? Dare we ask that question?
Oh God, you might stop it. But do you know, I don't feel my age.
Yeah.
I was 86 New Year's Day. But I feel it's back when I was 40s, in my 40s, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm going around doing my little bits and pieces as I always done.
Yeah.
And now when Nicole moves out, I'll only have my son Damien here with me.
Yeah. And tell me this, can you remember life on the road, Nancy?
I do.
Could you tell us some of the stories about that?
Well, I remember now my sister in the park, she's 5.5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And I mind the morning Mammy went to hospital in labour with her. I didn't know where she was going, like.
Yeah.
Me and Daddy was left on our own, God rest him.
Yeah.
And from that, we travelled. Well, the most countries we travelled was Cavan and Monaghan, like.
Yeah.
From I got married then, I've travelled up to Longford. That was my husband's country, Drumlish in County Longford.
Yeah.
And we were in County Louth for a while. No. But not out of the... Not travelling like Westmead or... I was up there for a while with a brother-in-law, my husband's called rest him. He's dead and gone since to the crater. And we were in a couple of weeks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the most of the time Cavan and Monaghan. Then we settled down in Monaghan.
Yeah.
Well, we out of Cortalvin Bridge out there.
Yeah.
That's where my children started all school from.
And do you miss life on the road, Nancy?
Beg your pardon?
Do you miss the life on the road?
Well, I did and I don't, because it was a hard life, love, you know. Although, like, while I was travelling, we never knew what sickness was. Thanks be to God. We always got good. That's one thing I was blessed with. Health.
Yeah.
And I never knew being with a doctor in my life while I was with my parents. The first doctor I might have been with was about 3 months before my second son was born. But before that I never knew what it was to see a doctor.
Yeah.
But then my daddy was a tinsmith, you know, making buckets and boilers and mending the old ones. And
Yeah.
there's none of that now. You wouldn't get that now.
Yeah.
That's why the plastic is in the country. It's wearing away so quick they can get rid of them now and they have more tomorrow. You know, but the tin buckets was made, they were made to last. And the tinware was all made to last. Which is the stuff now is not made to last. That's why they're selling so much of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a It was a hard life and a healthy life.
And do you remember how you would have passed the time back then?
I beg your pardon?
How did you pass the time?
Well, just locally there, when you're growing up, what you're reared to.
Yeah.
There's no problem to you, like, you know what I mean? What would you pass your time at? And them times there was nothing to pass your time at. If you're near a town, you go to the cinema or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But that was just all.
Yeah.
It was nothing really.
And do you think travellers have lost their sense of culture and identity?
Beg your pardon?
Have the travellers lost their sense of culture and identity?
I think so. Because the most of them have settled down now, you know.
Yeah.
Like I know hundreds of travellers now and they're all settled down in different parts of the world. North and south, you know.
Yeah. And do you think there's anything that could be done to preserve the traveller culture?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just you're born to be a travelling person, then you settle down, you know. But it doesn't take that away from you, you know. You're still like people. After we coming in here, I said we won't have the life of a dog, you know, living among the settled community. It'll be gypsies here and gypsies there. That was never mentioned around this where I come in here to live. We come into a great community here to live because I have the best neighbours that could be got.
Yeah.
I never had a differ with one of them. One, but she's dead and gone, God rest her, having a bit of a fault. It wasn't my fault though.
Yeah.
And great neighbours. I can go up and go into any of them to Kelly, pass my time away. They come in to me.
Yeah.
You say, I said that the place is not a mansion. No, we didn't come to look at your house, we come in to see how you're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're sitting, I give me Caffrey over there, and Betty McKeown over there, and Bernie Dunlop, Jean Lavery here. They're great, just great people.
Yeah.
Great people.
And do you think that your grandchildren have any idea of what it means to be a traveller?
No, they don't. They never looked back. So they never knew what it was like. They just, you know, Karen, Nicole, or Kerry is here with me. She's stuck with me. She comes in and out to me. How did you like when you were travelling? Nanny, she says to me. And I said, well, am I going to start telling you about it now? What do you want to know about? You're not travelling. So the children doesn't know what it was like to see you were travelling the roads, one in caravans and things.
Yeah.
They laugh at the idea when I tell them like and where you were and where you parked your caravan and what part of the country you were in. They just sit down and laugh at me.
Yeah.
This is it. Well, we've got through life so far.
Yeah. It's done you no harm.
And no, not a bit. And thanks be to God, like I'm as good as I am. My health fairly good, thanks be to God. I have a bit of vertigo now.
Yeah.
And I want to see with the council put in a shower for me, you know, a surrounded shower.
Yes.
Because I have a shower, but it's very big.
Yeah.
You ever staggered in?
Yeah.
You could be killing in any of the four walls, look, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or falling in the toilet bowl or hand basin.
Yeah.
It'll surround them. When you go into it, you can't fall, you know, you'll stagger a bit maybe.
Yeah.
That is not too bad. I walk downtown on a Friday morning to do my shopping now. And if it's a wet morning, I get a taxi down.
Yeah.
And a taxi back up. I do little bits and pieces, a bit of a wash off a minute now, because Nicole's away out to take bits and pieces out to the house. So.
And would you say, have you still kept in contact with any of the people that you were with on the road? Do you still keep in contact with any of the people that you were with on the road?
A lot of them dead and gone.
A lot of them dead and gone.
No. But when before we moved in here, we were out when I'm out there and they got the king and the Tiggins, as they called them.
Yeah.
My uncle was there and his wife, and they're both gone, God rest them. And another cousin, Mrs. McCann, or Coley in the park. Families that was there, they nearly all passed away, you know.
Yeah.
All passed away.
And what would have been your favourite dinner on the road? What would have been your favourite dinner?
Your favourite dinner?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not a very big eater, but I like my spuds.
Yeah.
Bit cabbage. I know boiled ham.
Yeah.
Boiled ham.
Yeah.
Big chunk of boiled ham, a big nice head of cabbage there, a few with rice. Spuds laughing at you there.
Yeah.
Lovely. Years ago, you had the big pot of soup, beef soup.
Yeah.
That's what everyone was all. Mine was all fed in. That time when you made it, they ate it. It's not like now.
Yeah.
I'm going to the chipper for such a thing. If I put a dinner down here, it wouldn't be it. Oh, well, I'm going to the chipper for curry this and curry that. God bless us, it burn the livers of an elephant, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't have it at all. A son of mine was put from eating hot foods in Armagh. He used to eating that hot.
Yeah.
And he was fond of the booze as well. And he was drunk and hard the food was, if it was by bubbling he'd eat it. Oh God. So he was coming up from the pub one night around the corner from the house, didn't he fall, slip off the footpath into a puddle of water. The rain come down the hill and it lit again the footpath. He fell and was got lying in it. Some friend come and shook him up. Jerry, what's up with you? What's up with you? Jerry said, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with Jerry? Him lying, he's soaking to the skin. And he full to the gills with beer, of course, or vodka, or whatever he was drinking. Took him up to the house. And the wife, name of God, Jerry, where we this time in the morning, look at the state he would wet. So they changed him and put him into the shower and dried him and dressed him, and he's into the chipper then for the hot food.
You had a big family yourself. Nancy, how many children have you got?
I've reared 17. 10 boys and 8 girls, and one boy died after I come on here. He was 3 years and 3 months. And I never had a photograph of him. He was the only one I hadn't a photograph of. Isn't that funny? But I was telling you about my son Jerry now, he was an awful man for drink. Got his feed on him, and next morning Mary says, in the name of God, the wife, what happened to you, Jerry? You could be killed with a car around the lane in a puddle of water around the corner. Well, it's going to be a change, he says, Mary. Got himself up and shaved himself down to the doctor. The doctor started to laugh because he seldom seen him. He just said, Jerry, what's the matter that you're here? Well, he says, Doctor, I just come in to see if you can give me any advice. Tell me what happened to him the night before falling into the water about his hot foods. Stop your hot foods, he says. You're burning the coat in your stomach. It's too hot. You can take foods, but not hot. Just let it, cool it off.
Yeah.
And what about your drink? Well, he says, Doctor, I'm going to jack the drink. You what? He says, I'm going to quit it. And from that morning until now, and that's 5 years ago, he never touched a drink.
Made his mind up.
It was the biggest scare he ever got,
Yeah.
falling into the flood of water. And I was glad because I used to be afraid of him coming up to town, maybe hit with a car, and
Yeah. And are your children all living in Monaghan? Are they close to you, Nancy?
What, love?
Are your 17 children, do they all live here in Monaghan?
The farthest away is Shannon, County Clare. My son Martin's living there, and his wife and his 4 family. His eldest son passed out for a male nurse there a couple of months ago.
Brilliant.
Very good.
And he's doing very well. And his second son and their woman, they're having their first baby, the first grandchild shortly now, please God.
Yeah.
And everything is well. And then the next farthest one is in Letterkenny, my daughter Angela. Her and her 5 children down there, 4 girls and her boy. And she's 2 little grandchildren. And the rest of them is now, I have 2 in Ballybor, 2 sons, County Cavan. I have a son in Coothill, County Cavan. And I have 3 sons out in Mullamat, Anthony, Enda and John, my eldest son and my youngest is out there, and one in between. And I have Bernie lives down here, number 30. And Sharon lives up at the cathedral up in 81 Clonlarkin. And they're scattered around here and there.
Yeah.
Not that far away,
Yeah, you'd be still be in contact. You see them all on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I do ring Martin every week, and I ring Jerry when he's only down the road, and maybe go down the weekend, please God, to him.
Yeah.
And you like to see the little grandchildren. And
Good.
you like to see your children too, God bless them.
Yeah.
Martin is very good now. He's always in contact. His son is based in Athlone, the boy that passed out for the illness. And his daughter is living in Limerick City, her and a couple of girls, mates, are working together. And the fella and the girl having the baby there moved into a new house in Limerick. So him and the wife and one son is at home. The 18th, the baby.
You'd have seen some changes, Nancy. You've seen some changes throughout the years.
Stop it, will you stop it? No wonder grey hairs, is it?
What's the biggest change you'd say you've seen?
What?
What's the biggest change you've seen?
Oh, Lord knows. Well, to see my family moving out, like it was a heartbreak. But then I was happy to see them settled and contented.
Yeah.
And everything going well for them, thanks be to God,
Yeah.
And you found us someplace to go, like I could put my foot in the bus and land to Limerick.
Yeah.
And my son or my daughter-in-law come in and pick me up, take me out to Shannon.
Yeah. You'd not be stuck.
Show me around a little bit. And I go down to Letterkenny in the bus. They're sitting in the bus, you don't get out till you land to Letterkenny, like, you know, that's great.
Yeah.
And my daughter down there, she's very good to me, and her man, they're very good, and the children. Oh, well, that's it now.
Anne O'Leary, the oldest traveller in Monaghan. Beg your pardon? How long are you in Monaghan? Oh, well, from I can remember Monaghan town, I'm round it. You put me in a wush.
Do you mind us asking your age, then?
Beg your pardon?
Do you mind us asking your age?
I do. I was born on the 1st of January 1933. The memories.
It's a long time.
The memory is good. And I've reared 17 of a family.
I'm John's mother, no?
We John's
mother, yeah.
I'm John's mother, yeah.
John's there.
Was it there with me? All right. I have.
You remember all these things here?
Do I not? The best night's sleep we ever got, we got them.
Yeah.
And there was no rent have to be paid.
Oh, you had, believe it or not, you had one there.
I'm paying 65.50 a night a week now to sleep. It was a great life. It was a hard life, but a good, healthy life.
Yeah.
We never knew what sickness was when we were traveling.
Yeah.
No, never.
You miss it?
Everybody was healthy and singing. My aunt lived on the hill beside me and they died. The husband says he never got sick till he came into the house. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
When you put your rear, it doesn't do you any harm. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. I beg your pardon? Yeah. Round the corner, 2 houses there. The one with the extension on. Ah, geez, I had a I rented one off him years ago. I had my bacon and cabbage down boiling on the range when I was coming down, so I'll have to soon go up now to see to look after it, or to be burdened. Right, God bless.
Oh, yeah.
I think travellers have very interesting. If you look over here and you see all that tin well, well, like, the tinsmith makes all of that stuff, right? So they'll be up early in the morning and they'll be working hard and they'll make it, but it's not their job to sell it. It was actually the women's job to sell it. And women's role within the travelling community, we were still like to believe we're patriarchal, but we're not. But women had a tough enough time and a hard time. And the woman's role was the family. And she looked after the family. And young boys and girls, and particularly the young girls, coming at an age of 11 and 12, their role completely changes from that of being a child to being an adult almost. And they would look after their siblings, look after the young boys and girls, and that was their job, you know? Now, you come along then, the women's role, and let's be truthful about this, they would get out and make sure that there was food there. And if that meant going begging the houses in the country, they'd done that. And they put the shame in their pocket. And I must say I'm very proud of them. You know, because look at me, look. They looked after me well.
No, but I mean, like, anybody would do the same.
Of course, to look after your family. So the women had to, so all the tinware and all that stuff was taken, and it was a barter system. And that's what they would have done. But it was a tough life and a hard life. And you had to survive in it was tough. Like my granny, the Lord Mercer, 5 of her children survived out of 19. She had 19 live births, you know.
Oh my God.
And it became a way of life for a lot of them. You were living in harsh enough conditions.
Yeah.
The winter times were tough. The winter were hard. You were also moved a lot. Where you try and settle a bit longer, you will move very quickly. So you get a couple of days in a camp and then the Gardaí would come and you'd move on, you know. Or in some situations, in the local area, the work could be all dried up so you move on. But so you were continuously on the move, but also you were living in conditions for, and the women had hard times, and babies were born on the side of the road. I'm not talking about babies were born in hospital. I mean born in the back of a tent or underneath one of these flats, underneath one of these wagons. And they minded one another. A lot of the women among travellers were known as midwives, and they would look after the other women as well in pregnancy. But The sad thing about it is that, as I said to you, my granny had a lot in her family, as did a lot of other women of her time. Some of them would grow to 2 and 3 years of age. So it wasn't unusual to have the name your child twice in the family or 3 times in the family. But you'll have to wait 8 years before you rename the child. There's loads of different traditions and customs.
Really?
Ah, yeah.
I suppose it's honouring.
Yeah,
that's
that's it. So you had hard times. The infant mortality rate among travellers to this day is 2.5 times that of the settled population. Shouldn't be. Our life expectancy for males is 15 years, for females is 12 years. The difference. That is serious. That is the statistics and lifestyle that Ireland had in the 1940s. Before there was a big sophisticated network of health. Why are we having that today and only travellers have that? So traveller health is very weak. Traveller mental health is severe. And that to me has a lot to do with trying to make us into something that we're not. And we resent that and resist it.
Yeah.
And you're fighting that all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel you're fighting a losing battle.
Yeah.
Because the pressure is serious, you know.
Yeah. And what is what is your life expectancy?
At the moment, for males, it's 15 years shorter, the males and the settled people.
Yeah.
And for females, it's 12 years shorter.
That will bring you up to what age? Safety? Is there
I think, I don't know, I know that most travellers, Irish travellers, see themselves in their 60s as old and on the way out, you know.
Yeah.
And that's terrible because I'm 60. So I want to push it back, I want back, you know. You know? I want to push it back a bit, you know.
Absolutely. Well, do you know what? Just an observation. I think the nomadic lifestyle really appeals to people, you know, because they're going on retreats now and they're all executive burnout and stuff.
That's right, yeah.
I think they have a lot to learn.
They have a lot to learn for it. Listen, pleasure was mine.
Absolutely.